You're listening to the John and Heidi Show. Now, featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Farris.
Okay, dudes, let's walk this sucker.
On Sunny 93.3.
You are listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Mr. Dan Farris. How you doing, Dan?
Doing pretty darn well, John. Thanks for asking. Heidi, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Well, this is, of course, the day the music died.
That is so sad.
It's come to be known. It was
What a downer.
1959. In case you don't know, the plane carrying Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, J.P. Richardson, a.k.a. the Big Bopper, and the pilot went down near Clear Lake, Iowa.
Been right by there.
Big tragedy. Yeah, they have a big deal in Clear Lake, that ballroom. Every year they still...
Surf ballroom, yeah.
Yeah, they still
I
do
saw
a big
REO
thing for that.
Speedwagon play there.
Oh, no
A
kidding.
relative of mine was flying that plane.
The airplane is named...
What?
Yeah.
Did not know this.
The American Pie was the name of the airplane. So the song, Bye Bye Miss American Pie, is actually the name of the airplane.
Which is possibly one of the most irritating songs ever
I would
produced.
have to agree with you.
You guys don't like it? I always liked it. I thought it was a good song.
It was one of those songs where it would come on. My older brother, Oogs, just
Long
loved
song.
it. He would turn it up, so I'd try to turn it down. And then, then it'd be fisticuffs, and I always lost. So that song, every time I hear that song, it's like I'm about to be beaten to death.
I had a chance to visit with Don McLean. I've always said McLean, but he would know, and he said it's McLean. But I had a chance to talk to him, a year ago, 2 years ago, did an interview with him. Super nice dude, but, that's like his biggest hit ever.
It was.
It was a great song, I thought.
I think he had one other hit coming on, but
He had a couple others.
About it.
That was the biggest one, yeah.
And let's see, then the world had to go space age. It was 1966, this very day, the very first soft landing on the moon, which was done actually by the Russians, the Soviet Luna 9 touchdown, and immediately started meddling in the moon's presidential election. And this is near and dear to my heart. Happy birthday to Fran Tarkenton, number 10. Sir Francis is 80 today.
Really?
Yeah, I grew up my formative years, Minnesota Vikings, going out to the old Met Stadium where Mall of America sits now.
Yeah.
All bundled up with my brothers and my dad and watching Fran Tarkenton scramble. The best scramblers ever in the game.
What game did he play?
Football, John.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if he was a Twin or a Viking.
Yeah, he was a quarterback. And it's funny, all these years later now, of course, the Minnesota Vikings have an $84 million man at quarterback, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
And whenever I watch him play, I literally will yell at the screen at some point going, watch some Fran Tarkenton tapes and see what he did.
You're doing it all wrong.
Get out of the pocket, Kirk. Figure it out.
Well, see, I'm not a sports guy, so I don't know any of this stuff.
So there you go. A little update
Thanks.
on what's happened over the decades. Man.
Awesome. We're going to have Ranger Dan come in. Can't wait to get an update on the Possum Bowl. That's on the way. Also, some entertainment news. A lot of fun stuff. Maverick Monday. It's a big day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris.
When was the last time you got a new credit card? If you have a card that's been in your purse or wallet for a long time, you should check and see if you're getting the best rates. You may find a better credit card that will give you the points you want or cashback options you don't get right now. At bettercreditcards.com, you see all the major credit card companies and their best offers. Let them compete to earn your business. And if the one you have right now is better, keep it. Find a card that's a better fit for you at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Time right now for Ranger Dan's Critter Corner.
Well, I'm rough, tough, and ready. I'm a heck of a man. Eat my beans and weenies from a frying pan.
He's Ranger Dan.
Easy. I'm Ranger Dan. Well, I love to wrestle bears and lasso ducks, run over possums in my government truck.
He's Ranger Dan.
Easy. I'm Ranger Dan. Well, I loves all the campers and the animals too. If you're picking on critters, I'm coming after you.
He's Ranger Dan.
Yes, sir. I'm Ranger Dan.
Good morning, Ranger Dan.
Good morning,
Ranger Dan.
Oh,
Good
no.
morning. I know why you're looking at me.
What is going on over there?
Thanks, man. Give me a second. Still a little parched from the weekend.
A lot of bandages there, too. I think there's some fresh blood on it.
As you know, we're all very excited. It was going to be the first annual Ranger Dan Possum Bowl.
Yeah, what happened?
In connection with, Animal Planet's Puppy Bowl and Kitty Bowl and Doggy Bowl and all that
Those
kind
went
of
off
thing.
without a hitch, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure they were absolutely fantastic. Apologies to the thousands of people who laid out their $12.95 to watch that live stream event at noon yesterday. The first annual Ranger Dan Possum Bowl, complete with an all-raccoon, star-studded event at halftime. Well, things happened. In fact, it was late Friday night. We had, of course, leased a state-of-the-art studio to get this event done, and then we were told that had to be canceled. Something to do with, I don't know, insufficient funds and a third-party check. We were forced to move our location back to Uncle Stump's maintenance shed, where, of course, we'd actually built that state-of-the-art cardboard, hastily spray-painted football stadium. Well, what with all the added lighting, the electrical, the gas generators, plus the piles of oily rags, cases of spray paint, glues, and solvents, Uncle Stump probably picked the wrong time to start welding on his new still. Well, place went up like a Patriot missile on steroids. Fortunately, Uncle Stump was the only one in the building at the time, and what with some skin grafts and total head-to-toe hair replacement. His Miller High Life cap did kind of melt to his skull, but he'll be just fine. Fortunately, we can't say the same for our elite team of possum footballers or the raccoon halftime participants.
Oh, are they okay?
Well, I got to tell you this, within about 2 minutes, the whole dang neighborhood was smelling like an Arkansas barbecue. On a positive note, I'm happy to announce the release of the all-new line of Ranger Dan Critter Jerky. The jerky with the satisfying crunch, now available at Northview Bait and Tackle. You can pick it up at the Log Cabin Bar on Burnside, or our new sponsor, Ken's Corner, your North End Country Club on 6th and Menlo, and of course on Amazon Prime. That's all the time we have this morning, Little Radio Ranger. You know the drills. Still go to church, say prayers, eat your vegetables, don't be playing second 11. Get your cracks as Ranger Dan out. Yes, sir.
Again, Ranger Dan's Critter Corner.
It's a new year. Have you made a resolution to quit drinking or to finally get away from drugs for good? These are both habits that are hard to kick, but you can do it. We want to help you. TimeForRehab.com is here to help you find the help you need with your particular situation. If you want to make this year the year you get the help you need to live a normal life again, start with a little help from us at TimeForRehab.com. That's TimeForRehab.com.
Time right now for Water Cooler Talk, brought to you by Aqua One. Mr. Dan Farris back in the studio, and what do we have going on?
I don't know if you guys tripped over this story or not. It came out a couple days ago on Dakota News Now. Bum, bum, bum.
I have not been to their site yet.
Dakota News Now. Bum, bum, bum.
DNN.
We've combined two television stations with the same newscast, but we're going to put it on two different places. Dun, 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 Dakota News Now. This is actually taking place, even as we speak, in Sioux City, Iowa, right across the border.
What's that?
It strikes me as kind of cool, but probably kind of dangerous. There is a group now that is formed in Sioux City. They call themselves the Siouxland Creep Catchers.
Oh, I've seen this, yeah.
Okay, so you are familiar.
Yes.
Group at Sioux City, they pose as underage boys and girls online in an effort to catch predators. And you know what? They are.
They're catching a lot of them.
Yeah, they meet up with adults that contact them looking for sex.
And then they're like publicly shaming them.
Yeah, they set up a meeting with these idiots, and then they go, man. They start, fire up their phones, videotape them, and confront them. And they said it's been pretty interesting. Most people we do this to, admit it right on camera.
So here's I asked one of the gentlemen, because I know a gentleman's friends with the people that started this, and I said, are they armed? And he's like, no.
No, and that is why
you guys got to be careful, man.
Members of law enforcement are going,
don't.
So far, they have exposed 17 people.
Isn't that crazy?
Their page has over 15,000 likes.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
It's going to start to get super dangerous now if they're doing this, especially now that the word's out. And I mean, these predators may just lure them in just to be able to take them out. Who knows? Yeah,
I have no idea what kind of methods they're using. Well, it's all online,
Yikes.
So who knows? But it's, number one, I give them some kind of credit. Sometimes, vigilante groups are kind of fun.
Yeah, I agree.
On the other hand,
it's very dangerous.
The other side of this is, staying within the law.
Because I used to love, I didn't, watch it religiously, but whenever I would stumble across it, I would watch it. And that was the old series, To Catch a Predator.
Oh, yes.
Because in a way, it would just kind of crack me up. Here come this goober, this cockroach.
Yeah.
Into the house, and you'd be, hey, I'll be right out. I'm making some iced tea. And okay, take your time. And then here come, what's his name? Chris Hansen, have a seat right over there. No, sit down right over there. Have a seat right there. Have a seat right there. So you're here, and with a 13-year-old girl. No. Well, I thought maybe she needs some help. Well, why do you have...
why do you have this?
Why do you have a big bag of Reese's Pieces and a 6-pack of Zima in your duffel bag? By Zima, of course, to bring that up to date, White Claw.
Exactly.
So this would be interesting to watch what happens with this group, because I don't... It doesn't appear they're breaking any law or anything. It's just kind of funky.
So they got to be careful, because there's a thing called entrapment too, isn't there? Is that a different? I think they better be careful, because if they do something wrong, they could. I think they could actually help somebody get off. Scot-free on some.
Sioux Falls police officer Sam Clemens is usually the spokesguy for Sioux Falls PD. Says it's fine that they're bringing awareness to this, but I think the way that they're doing it is probably the wrong way. We just want to make sure that things are done safely, things are done the right way. That means if you find these people that are looking to solicit others, report that to local law enforcement and let them do the job.
Right.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense, I guess. But in the meantime, you know what? If I'm a young buck, whatever, and somebody says, hey, you want to join this group? I'd probably go, yeah, where do I sign?
Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like a movie to me.
But on the other hand, things could turn bad in a
very quickly.
hurry. So there you go.
Coming up here in a moment, speaking of awesome people doing awesome things, we've got Maverick Recruiting's Top Gun of the Week. Heidi, you got a good one?
Actually, Dan has a good one this week.
Dan has a good one.
She's handed the torch of Maverick responsibility to moi.
It is on the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show Bonus Hour with Dan Farris.
Want to make your sweetheart smile next month for Valentine's Day? Find some fun, matching shirts at funkymonkeyshirts.com. We have a whole collection of fun shirts for you lovebirds.
My wife rocks.
My man rocks.
We also have many silly shirts that will make you smile any day of the year.
My ex-wife was a trophy wife.
Participation trophy.
Find something fun for a loved one, friend, or for yourself at funkymonkeyshirts.com. That's funkymonkeyshirts.com.
It's time right now for the Maverick Recruiting Top Gun of the Week.
Wow. I'm with you. Lay down that.
Keep on going.
Lay down that beat, Heidi.
So the Top Gun of the Week is it's kind of like a employee of the week, where we find somebody in the community who's going above and beyond, who's just like a rock star at what they do. And then we shine a little spotlight on them. And our friends at Maverick Recruiting help us with this. So it's just a really cool thing, because they help find good people all the time for employers. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, Heidi, you are going to yield the floor to Mr. Dan Farris.
Am.
Dan.
Number one, I am honored.
Yeah, I would be. She's never let me do
I'd
this.
like to thank the little people.
Although I'm positive I will, I fully intend not to let you down.
So who are we going to shine?
Well, this has been kind of an
on?
ongoing thing. A few years ago, I decided to jump TV providers, vendors, and I ended up just almost on a whim. I pulled into DTV Pros on 41st Street.
Oh, I've seen them. Yeah.
Not knowing what to expect. I mean, I'm not a techie guy. I'm really not. It's like, man, can you help me out? I've been with them for about a year and a half now, and I've had multiple times where I've had to stop in about this, that, or the other thing, and Carissa and Kyle are fantastic.
Nice.
Most recently, I had a billing glitch because I dumped a premium channel and something didn't look right to me.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be pretty easy to go online and correct that because you have an account online.
Sure, right.
But we're talking about me.
Going online.
So I bring in this stack of bill, like 6 months worth of billing, whatever, and poor Kyle. There he is at his desk. And, of course, they don't do the billing there.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not DirecTV.
But he literally spent, I'll bet it was a good hour.
Oh, wow.
On the phone, straightening it all out and everything he told me. And he wrote things down and handed me my paperwork back. And he says, okay, you'll be getting a bill and it should be this. And he was dead on, perfect. Nice. No, and it's just things like that. Service these days, it seems to be far and few between.
You got to share the remote story. That's my favorite one.
But Chris and Kai have taken such fantastic care of me, and I think they deserve a little hey.
Yes, they do.
You're not going to share the remote story?
Oh, that was so embarrassing.
They helped him with his remote. That's all we'll say.
She sure did, yeah. Yeah, I made the Wall of Fame at DTV.
It's like, see this button that says on?
It was about that pathetic.
It really
yes.
wasn't quite that bad. Well, hats off to the folks at DTV Pros, and we'll be bringing you some shirts and a certificate to hang on the wall to show that you have proudly become a Top Gun of the Week from MaverickRecruiting.com.
Great job, Dan, by the way. You did not let us down at all.
You didn't let us down. You did really good. If you would like to... If you'd like to find some awesome people to work at your place of work there, you can reach out to our friend John at MaverickRecruiting.com. He can help you find awesome people to be on the team there. Also, like if you're an awesome person and you're going, hey, I'd like to be on an awesome team, reach out to John and say, hey, this is who I am, this is what I'm looking for, and he can help you find a really good job. That is what they do, and they do a darn good job of it. All of the details at MaverickRecruiting.com.
Student loan debt is out of control for many people. Are you one of them? The average graduate walks away with anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000 in student loans. Believe it or not, 2% even manage to owe over $100,000 by the time they graduate. If you have several different student loans, let us consolidate them into one loan and one payment at singlestudentloan.com. If you have only one student loan, we may be able to offer you a better rate to help you get that loan paid off sooner at singlestudentloan.com. That's singlestudentloan.com.
And it's time right now for entertainment news of the day with Mr. Dan Farris.
Oh, do with me. Celebrities are fabulous. Huge football game, of course, whatever everybody's talking about. I don't need to. J-Lo, Shakira were the halftime entertainment. Sure, they did a great job. What you may or may not know is halftime entertainment. Of course, it's been going on during Super Bowls almost from the very beginning, but it used to be seriously just marching bands. Maybe the cheerleaders would come out. It was never any big deal.
Became a big deal.
It did become a big deal, and one of the first to show up for a halftime show was actually Up With People. Remember Up With People?
I do.
Yeah.
No. I believe I remember that halftime show.
Yeah, so I got kind of curious. It's like, okay, I remember certainly the recent ones, and who can forget Prince's halftime, which pretty much everybody agrees is probably the best ever.
One of, for sure.
But here's kind of a list over the past 20 or so years, and I'll just name some of them. Aerosmith was there, if you remember that. Shania Twain.
Yeah.
This one I had completely forgotten. It's hard to even wrap my head around it. The Who performed halftime. New Kids on the Block.
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder.
He drove a car out there, which was amazing.
I remember that. I thought that
Stevie
was just so cruel.
Stevie's driven more than he owns tasers too. He's like dangerous.
But he's blind, and they had him in a car drive out to
I thought
it was
that was
awesome.
really cruel.
Ella Fitzgerald, Justin Timberlake. This was pretty awesome. It was James Brown with the Blues Brothers, but it was after John Belushi had died, so that was actually John Goodman played his part. Tony Bennett and Patti LaBelle.
Okay.
Katy Perry. Maroon 5, who were terrible. Can't stress that enough. They're terrible.
It was terrible.
Janet Jackson.
Yeah, it was a
memorable
was a good
one.
Yeah, Oops, along with Justin Timberlake. Oops. Coldplay. Rolling Stones did the halftime show.
I remember that.
Years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen. Madonna, and recently, was this last year, year before? Lady Gaga.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Tore it up pretty good. Boys to Men.
Oh, yeah. It would have been in the 90s.
Diana Ross.
Cool.
Paul McCartney.
I remember Paul McCartney. That was the year after. That was the year after Janet Jackson, because I remember there were jokes online about him, flashing a nipple, and it never happened. So.
Bruno Mars.
Thank God.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
U2 and Bouncy.
Who? Us?
What?
Us too?
No, Michael. Who?
I don't remember.
You said you two. Me too?
No, you too.
There.
You do too. We saw that.
There's a lot of twos flashing around.
You too do too.
Yeah, so really pretty nice lineup of folks who have come on. And I had forgotten most of these had ever appeared, but there you go.
Well, who's going to be there next year, Dan? Do we know yet?
Oh, let me guess. Who's hot right now? Who's
How about that Billie Eilish girl?
Yeah,
probably. Because she won all the Grammys.
Okay, and I'm being legit here. I'm not trying to be snarky.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a girl.
That is.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
Because I was being pulled up short. I've only seen a picture of...
If you held a gun to my head right now and said, I'm going to kill you if you can't tell me one song from Billie Eilish, I would be dead because I don't know. Yeah. I have no clue.
I won a pile of Grammys, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't know any of them. And I'm not saying that I think that her music is bad. I don't even know what it is. So it's probably fantastic.
Yeah,
but she's a Grammy winner and stuff. So anyway, you know what I like instead? Music from the 80s and 90s.
Let's get back to that.
Oh.
We're going to have Billy Idol instead of Eilish.
There you go.
That's more like it.
Better choice.
Dan, thanks for coming in, man.
My pleasure, John.
Again, Mr. Dan Farris joins us here. It's the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris.